Welcome back to Fullerton College's Print 7577 pre-press class. This is Professor Ben Hewitt, and we're going in through PIA's pre-press training manual, section 3.2, client analysis. We're starting again the second half here. Hopefully it's only 2 videos. Let's hope. And we're talking about one of the most important points of the chapter. Wherever you're working, whether it's for yourself or for someone else, whatever print shop you're in, you are not the only print shop in town. There are a lot of print shops in Southern California, specifically in LA and Orange County. There are a ton of printers. You are hardly alone. Good news when you go job hunting. There's a lot of printers out here. You can find a job. Hooray. But beyond that, that means there's a lot of competition. That means every one of them out there is looking for people to print things with them. If you treat your clients badly, or as it turns out, it doesn't matter if you're actually treating them badly. If your client feels like they're being treated badly, if they get that impression, they're going to leave and go somewhere else. In some cases, literally across the street. One of the better print shops I worked for actually had a rival print shop on the other side of a parking lot in the, industrial section out in Chino. There was another print shop within easy walking distance. It was part of my lunchtime walks that I went past there on the way to the park. But anyways, if you start giving people wrong answers to their questions, if you blow it off and pretend to know everything and you don't, if you make up stories about how things are working or not working and it's not true and they find out, and they will find out, information is everywhere these days. All they have to do is Google what you said to them and they'll find out if it's correct or not. Just saying. And if you lose that confidence, and once they drop below 50% confident in you, if they like you halfway or more, you're fine. But the minute you drop to a 49% approval rating, it's over. You're not getting it back. That customer is gone, and they're going to work with the competition instead. So we need to, as printers, and especially in pre-press, do a better job at handling their files and do a better job at relating to them accurate information in a way that they can understand. I already believed in this. I already ran the parts of the print shop I used to work for as if we were teachers, and it worked well. If you treat your clients as students, and treat them well, of course, not harshly, like I didn't do the ruler to the wrist thing very often. Very few Very few clients were locked up in the punishment closet. That's right. I treated them like British boarding school kids from kids' books. Anyways, what I mean is, if you seek to educate, enlighten, and generally improve the lives and careers of your clients, they will like to stay with you. That's what actually builds loyalty, is taking care of them. And in our case, our expertise is in printing, so we're going to take care of them by giving the best possible printing experience they can have, and along the way, educating them on the process and what's going on so that they can trust you better. Giving accurate information that is bad news, is better than lying to give good news. Remember, customers can be anybody. Customers come from all sorts of industries and all sorts of walks of life. I've worked with many of these on this list myself personally. For print jobs, architects want printing, engineers, government agencies, lawyers, educators, marketers, secretaries. Yes to all of these. I've actually worked with at least one person in each one of these categories over my career. And they all have different requirements. They all need different things from you, and they all have different levels of understanding. As a let's just randomly throw this out there for a moment. Architects tend to have a decent design sense and tend to work really great with their vector illustrations. Just saying. But sometimes have trouble with more technical printing things like bleed and that types of trim space availability. Let's move on. Who's not on this list? Experienced graphic artists. And even those who are graphic artists aren't necessarily experienced. One of the big problems with the desktop revolution, which allows everyone to be graphic artists, is the fact that we don't have an official vetting process in our society for graphic artists. Anybody can pay the $20 to $50 a month, depending on whether or not they have a student ID, to Adobe, get the Creative Cloud on their computer, and say, I'm a graphic designer. I makes pictures. Anybody can do that. And no one can tell them, no, you're not a graphic designer, you're just a poser. But there's a lot of posers. If you want to get into electrician work and yeah, wire houses and buildings, you have to go through years of special training, get a bunch of certificates, and then you join a union and a system which is going to take you through apprenticeship, through journeymanship, and for the last thing is called guru. Sorry. But anyways, you work your way up through experience and learning in all these things and get officially recognized at the level that you are so people know what type of expert you are. No such experience, sorry, experience is the wrong word. No such system exists for graphic design. There's no certificate that says, I actually know what I'm doing that's officially recognized everywhere. The good news is getting these certificates from our school and from the PIA is a leg up on this process. The problem is just that it's not required anywhere. So it helps people know that you know what you're doing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that someone who doesn't know what they're doing isn't going to be in the job. Anyways, experienced graphic artists are a rare treat to work with. Every once in a while, you get a glorious person to work with who does a great job in their files. Not only are they beautiful and typographically sound and use all the right colors, but they actually include bleed and the pictures are linked. Gosh, they're wonderful. Anyways, to be a good print service provider, and again, you could read this either in the positive or negative way, but you better read it in the positive way if you want to keep your customers. You take advantage of the fact that your clients are not as trained as you are and use that to become an expert to them. Help them to appreciate your knowledge and your experience and have them come to you for advice and wisdom on printing. That's the position you want to cultivate with your clients. Of course, you could also take advantage of that to prey upon them. But like I said, you can only do that once. This is not a great analogy, and I wish it wasn't coming out of my mouth, but here it goes. Remember that you can milk a cow a lot of times. You can have a lifetime supply of milk and cheese. You can only have steak once, though. So value added, there are things we can do that make us appear better than our competitors, and also that just foster that type of client to print provider relationship. We give them guidance on digital file construction. We help them. We help them learn what they need to know to help their stuff work. I know I've told you the story about the Hawaiian hotels company I used to work with at my previous job. And this is one of the best ones I ever had, where they came in and originally their files all had problems. And I helped them figure out how to overcome the files problems. I didn't fix it for them. I taught them enough, knowing what system they were using, that they were able to correct that issue. And from then on, whenever they sent me a file, it was good to go. And they sent a big, big, big load every December. They ordered hundreds of thousands of brochures. And once that became an easy job, then one of our biggest clients of the year became an easy client who sent a file. I quickly pre-flighted and sent it to press because they didn't have issues anymore because they learned. Feedback on problems. There are plenty of places, especially over-the-counter places, like, and I'm not trying to malign them because they're actually a really good company, but if you went to Costco and you give them bad pictures to print for you or other files you can use their photo printer sections to do for you, and you give them blurry photos or things that are bad or low res and don't work out, they're going to print it for you, charge you your $6 or whatever it is, and give you your badly printed photos. Sorry, your competently printed bad photos. Wasn't their problem. You want to be better than that? Let your customer know these pictures don't work. Let them know this document is missing its fonts. Communicating with them and letting them know where it works and where it doesn't helps. On-time delivery probably should have been the top thing. Most clients are printing with some sort of deadline in mind, whether it's for an upcoming show or event, or if it's just when they're going to have their Labor Day sale. And if your Labor Day sale ad comes out after Labor Day, you don't need it anymore, do you? Make it easy to take their files from them. If you make them go through crazy hoops and try to use types of websites or things that are very specifically industry oriented that you expect a professional to know, you got to find ways of accepting print jobs from people who don't know what they're doing. One of the beautiful things for that is the prevalence of the PDF out there these days. Most people can email you a PDF. That's what I do at school when we print things for other departments who don't do printing or graphics. Um, the difference being I don't have to ask the graphic arts department to send PDFs. They just send PDFs. Everyone else, I have to tell, hey, send me a PDF. And by just getting those emailed that way, it's easy. They can understand it and they can do it successfully. And also you want to be able to give accurate responses for customer information. I get to tell you one of my favorite stories from my previous job. I didn't understand Flexo yet myself. I kind of get what they're talking about now that I've learned it. So, anyways, we had outsourced a print job because someone wanted thousands of stickers on a roll of sticker paper. When that happens, my print shop, which was primarily digital with a little bit of offset work here and there we could handle, did not have flexo presses. We did not have the capability of printing and die cutting and making onto giant rolls tons and tons of stickers. So we had to order out from a different shop that will remain nameless for libel reasons. This other shop that did our labels for us once didn't do the order. It took months and months to do a job that should have taken a week. And we were like, okay, we kept calling them. And one time we called them to ask them what was going on. And the response that I got from the guy on the other side of the phone, and I quote, is totally snaked it, bro. End quote. Totally snaked it, bro. Still don't know quite what he means. I kind of understand now that I know what happens when a spool loses its spooliness. That must have been what happened. But anyways, getting accurate responses to customer requests saying, hey, what's going on with our print job? They could have said, oh, we had issues with our press and now we're able to run it or something. But totally snaked it, bro. I don't understand what he meant. It didn't inspire trust or belief in competence from me. Client analysis is going to be well, we have a minute or two. Let's do it quickly. So client analysis is also understanding the client themselves and what they need and what versus what they want. This is some of the stuff I learned during my year of games workshop. What people want to buy from you isn't necessarily what they need to buy from you. That thing that they want, they think they want a billboard, but honestly, for what they're selling, they really need postcards. Anyways, you want to find out who works there, how many people work there, what kind of equipment are they using, what kind of things are they doing there, how do they use their people to get their equipment out their door. Basically, what are they doing to make their business work? You want to find a way of being a part of their company. Remember, we want to be a business partner to our clients, not just a person that we sell things to. We want to be a part of their process because we can't succeed in what we're doing without that information. So if you're able to, you want to figure out what your customer actually needs so you can help make sure that their company's system can work. So why do we care about how they're doing their desktop publishing? And this does matter. Part of the client analysis is finding out how do they make these files. A lot of times they have people who do one job employees who now do or they're no longer one job. They're employees who do lots of different things. Commonly, print shops that don't, or not print shops, businesses that I've worked with that don't employ graphic designers will oftentimes have one of their administrative assistants do what they can since they work on computers, right? Sure, Sally will handle it. And then they do what they can, and it's not necessarily all the way there. It makes us more valuable to them too if we understand what they're doing. We're able to talk them down. We're able to find their mistakes and their errors through understanding what they're doing and help them fix them. And in the end, it's more efficient and better products. Again, that Hawaiian Hotels thing, that Hawaiian hotel company used to work for, and their brochures. I figured out that they were using Photoshop, figured out where their problem was happening. They were getting knockout text on black, so I figured out they just needed to change their text layer to multiply. That little fix, and suddenly their print jobs were always good and always ready. And they liked that too, because that meant that whenever they sent us a file, not only did I have little work to do on it, but when they sent it to us, they didn't have to wait for fixes and repairs and revisions and back and forth and all this hassle. They got to send them. I got to look at them and they go, okayed the final, and we sent it out. It was great. That's what you want. We can also do things like you can offer customer seminars. I've done this one of my old jobs where you bring in a few of your common customers and you let them know what printing requirements there are. You know, teach them Bleed 101. Here's what we need on your files. You can also help them have technical support reps so they can call in and get answers to questions on when their print file is, but also on how they can improve themselves. All of this stuff, when you treat your customer like a student, like a pupil, or like a equal, you get better communication, you provide better support, and you become a much more efficient production system that can support their business and maintain long-standing, profitable customer relationships.